Florida Governor Ron DeSantis is pushing back against allegations that he is doing a cancel culture against a group that was supporting Palestinian lives. While appearing on Meet the Press on Sunday, he was asked by host Kristen Melker to respond to criticism from one of his Republican opponents. Take a look.
Your Republican challenger, Vivek Ramaswamy, says that violates the First Amendment rights of these students. He writes, quote, "It's a shameful political ploy. It's unconstitutional. It's utter hypocrisy for someone who railed against left-wing cancel culture." What is your response to Mr. Ramaswamy?
This is not cancel culture. This group, they themselves said in the aftermath of the Hamas attack that they don't just stand in solidarity, that they are part of this Hamas movement. It's not a First Amendment issue. That's a material support to terrorism issue.
Yeah, just to be clear, you're citing the Florida law that says one cannot give material aid or resources to a terrorist organization. Do you have any support that they're actually doing that?
Their own words are saying they're part of this organization, that they don't just stand in solidarity, that they don't just support what they did, but that this is their movement too. So once you hitch your wagon to a group like Hamas, that takes you out of the realm of normal activity, and that's something that we're going to take action against.
Oh, it's not a First Amendment issue. They're supplying, material support to a terrorist organization using their words. How's that not First Amendment? Look, you're going to be, of course, shocked that Ron DeSantis is making things up. Now, the State University System of Florida claimed in its decision to ban a chapter of students supporting Palestinian lives, and they said it was claimed that it was based on some sort of toolkit the National SJP sent to its 200 university chapters. The group alleges the toolkit refer to the Hamas October 7th attack on Israel as, quote unquote, the resistance. So let me be clear here, okay? I do not think that attacking innocent civilians is resistance. That would be a crime, terrorism. So, and of course, if you were also in response to that bombing innocent civilians, then that would also be wrong and also be a crime, specifically a war crime, and I think it hurts your cause. That said, is there any group or any evidence that this group of students here in the U.S. Were supporting Hamas? We're actually giving material support to Hamas, or even said that the attack was the resistance? No, there's no evidence of that at all. HuffPost was not able to verify that even such a toolkit exists. SJP describes itself as a national student movement that organizes for Palestinian liberation and self-determination, according to the national chapter's website. So now, of course, some people like Ron DeSantis have latched on to liberation as a as basically meaning destroying Israel and driving them out. No, that's not the case. I don't support that. Not very many people support that. Okay. Now, in reality, I support a two-state solution. And so, look, there's got to be an end to the prison-like conditions that the Palestinian people are facing. And I think that if that actually happens, the violence will drastically decrease. Okay? So that would be liberation, having two states and self-governance and freedom for the Palestinian people. Yeah, that would be generally a good thing. Okay, that would be liberation after all, and hopefully at some point in the future, cooperation. Believe it or not, if you treat people like human beings and allow them their own freedom and self-determination, something that Republicans should be in favor of, since you're all around here screaming freedom, 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 freedom. Oh, we love freedom. Yeah, we're all in favor of freedom. Seem to be really enjoying keeping a group of people in prison-like conditions. Well, that's because we know that Republicans are generally not in favor of freedom. Look, if you give people freedom and self-determination, the ability to, run their own lives, create their own governments, generally they're going to use it to, try to better their own lives. Doesn't always work out, but democracy is messy. Okay? That said, if you're going to call for freedom, that is not that is not the same as materially supporting terrorist groups. Just saying. The Palestinian people at large are not Hamas. That's like saying all Christians, for example, are Christian nationalists. They're all, neo-Nazis. They're saying even all right-wingers are neo-Nazis. I don't think that's true. Or that saying like all left-wingers are communists. No, that's not true. Look, when you try to generalize people, it doesn't work out. Generally. Now, that said, look, there are over 2 million people in Gaza right now. Half of them are under the age of 18. The other half may face mass unemployment, poverty. There's brutal restrictions on personal freedoms and liberties in these areas. These people are not Hamas. And to say they are is an excuse to support war crimes against innocent people. Because there are innocent people that are dying right now. And that's what Ron DeSantis is doing. He's supporting war crimes that our taxpayer money is funding right now. This war is killing children. Since October 7th, more than 3,257 children have been reportedly killed in the fighting, including in the bombing, I should say, in the carpet bombing of Gaza. At least 3,195 in that area. 33 were killed in the West Bank and 29 in Israel, according to the Ministries of Health in Gaza and Israel, respectively. So that's a lot of children. Again, children. Ron DeSantis, though, does not care. He's not advocating for a ceasefire. He's saying, no, we need the opposite of a ceasefire. We need more bombings. We need more bombings. Now, if you speak out against the war, though, he's also saying, I'm going to crush you. I'm going to use the power of the government to silence you effectively. Well, I mean, I can't think of anything more against the First Amendment than this. Look, speaking out against this war, and that's what I'm doing here, that's not anti-Semitic. Do you know Palestinians are also Semitic peoples, just like the Israelis? Look, and this conflict, by the way, will lead to more people that are down on both sides. And I'm not equivocating here on this because both sides are not equally impacted by this. They're just not. And all these military actions, Palestinians suffer more, actually suffer the most amount of casualties. It's not even close. And of course, look, one Palestinian child, I grieve for just as much as any Israeli child, okay? Because guess what? They're innocent people. They're both children. So you kind of have to understand that really is the only equivocation here, is that, guess what? A Palestinian child's life is worth the same to me as an Israeli child's life. We need to protect all of them. So, now, if you point that out, of course, somehow you're the same as neo-Nazis or what, Ron DeSantis is saying, it's the same as Hamas. No, not at all. By the way, it's kind of ironic because there are people on the right wing who agree with Ron DeSantis, when it comes to this issue. Yes, we must give more, bombs to Israel. We must send more weapons. We must send more money, and they must crush and destroy all of Hamas, flatten the entire area, destroy them all. Because we care so much about the Jews, right? No, they're usually the ones, those same people who are saying this stuff are the same ones that pal around with actual neo-Nazis, or actually aren't neo-Nazis. In fact, Florida seems to have a pretty big neo-Nazi problem here, and every time there's a whole high-profile incident involving neo-Nazis in Florida, what happened? Where was DeSantis? Oh, there was a massively anti-Semitic, demonstration with people putting, Nazi flags and Jews go home over a bridge. Oh, what was that? I'm not gonna give it the oxygen. That's right. I'm not even going to talk about it whatsoever. Isn't saying Nazi's bad probably the easiest thing that you could ever do? And as such, it being such a slam dunk, why resist? Why? Look, two Republican donors, by the way, are unhappy with Ron DeSantis about this issue. They spoke to the New York Times on condition of anonymity, and they said, look, Ron DeSantis is not saying enough about actual anti-Semitism here at home. And again, this is ironic because here's DeSantis out there in public all saying, Hamas, if you support Palestinian lives, you are anti-Semitic, you are anti-Jewish, you support a second Holocaust. No. supporting Palestinian liberation just means, hey, freedom for the Palestinian people so they can cooperate alongside their Israeli neighbors, and not kill each other, which is what they're doing right now. Yeah. And I realize it's not an easy thing. It's not a simple thing as far as like getting the logistics of peace together and hammering out borders and all that stuff. Right. Well, but there has to be a move towards that first. And that move would be for them to stop bombing each other, which would be great. That said, okay, these Republican donors recounted being told that DeSantis did not want to speak out when there were anti-Semitic incidents that had happened in Florida. As far as an explanation, there wasn't any. Beyond that, the governor believed that he had already done enough. Why are you guys bugging me about this? I mean, come on. You want me to come out and publicly denounce neo-Nazis every time there's an gigantic anti-Semitic incident in Florida? Why? What do you want me to do? Look, I'm too busy, by the way, going after wokeness and going after the teachers. I just don't have time to go after the neo-Nazis, because oftentimes neo-Nazis happen to be very ones that are out there protesting against, for example, drag queen sorority times and trying to get books banned. They're on the side of they're the book burners. The Nazis are the book burners. You're on the side of the Nazis. Now, look, to be fair, Florida did pass some laws to crack down on those kind of anti-Semitic incidents. But guess what? Same laws are now being used to target people who are speaking out and protesting, the war. So anti-war protesters are now being targeted with laws that go after anti-Semitism. And so you're saying if you're speaking out against the war and the death that is killing, again, people on both sides, although disproportionately Palestinians, if you speak out and want that to end and actually to have peace in the area and a chance towards a greater, better peace between those two peoples, you're anti-Semitic. And you're going to have these same laws against you. You're going to be defunded. You're going to be cancel cultured all the way. I don't agree with Vivek Ramaswamy on a lot of things. And I also don't even agree with his framing. Like, left-wing cancel culture. But I do agree with one thing, criticizing Ron DeSantis on this, because it absolutely is an example of cancel culture. It is an example of trying to, deny people their First Amendment rights to political speech without having the government come down on them for it. So, again, using these laws to target people who are just speaking out and protesting for what they believe in, saying that they're the same as terrorists and that they're materially supporting terrorists. No, it's about as anti-free speech as you can get. But what do you expect from Ron DeSantis in Florida?